Hi, Felix.
Amy.
Diana.
Ikea.
Richard.
Sherelle.
Hello, my name is Latoya Brim, and today I will be speaking about domestic violence. And of course, I don't know if you guys know or not, but today is October 1st, and it is National Domestic Violence Month, which is often overshadowed by breast cancer. But today I will be speaking about domestic violence and how it impacts the victims and the fact that there is help available for people who need it. So I don't know if you guys know the actual meaning of domestic violence, but domestic violence is not just, oh, my boyfriend beat me up, my husband hit me or whatever. Domestic violence is actually defined as someone who is abusing someone that lives in their home, and that's basically what it's characterized by. You have to live in the same household. According to rescue.org, violence against women is one of the most widespread of human rights abuses. 1 out of every 3 women worldwide will be physically, sexually, or otherwise abused during her lifetime. While that may be true, there are many victims of domestic violence who do not realize that there is a number of programs that are available for help, which may be local, national, or basically even in their community. Some victims of domestic violence have been isolated or even brainwashed by their attacker to believe that there is no one there to help them, no one cares, no one will stop what they're doing to make sure they're okay, and they basically have them just basically living in fear and have them thinking that, there's no one that can do anything for you but me, and they're basically dependent upon their abuser. While it seems simple and many people just think, oh, maybe she should just leave or she could get out, she should take the children and go, it's not really that simple. When you think about someone who is physically as well as mentally abused, the attacker doesn't really allow them to have money, access to money, any outside friends or relatives close by who can help them. And maybe the victim is also afraid that they can't start over and they're not used to just being on their own. So that could also be an obstacle when they're saying just leave or whatever. The first domestic violence week was actually celebrated in 1981 by the National Coalition of Domestic Violence against domestic violence. And until 1984, domestic violence was something that was just handled within the home until the Surgeon General, Edward Koop, stepped in and said, no, this is a national issue and the police need to intervene and look out for the victims as well. Many believe that victims of domestic violence are poor, uneducated women, while that's not the case. Men are also abused daily as well. Women are the aggressors. And also your social economic status doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you're abused. Oftentimes women are in predominant neighborhoods. They have affluent careers. They could be in position of power, but they often go home to a house of abuse and terror. According to Eve and Carl Bourgeois, an abuse tactic that is used by an abuser is that the victim made them do it. And oftentimes the victim starts to believe that information because you have others in their family telling them, oh, well, if only you would be quiet, or if you wouldn't talk back, or if you would just clean up the house. They start to actually believe those thoughts. So they get caught up in that trap of believing that and feeling as if they deserve the abuse. According to the Coalition Against Domestic Violence, some victims are passive while some may be assertive and aggressive, and they often fight the attackers back. And because of this is sometimes the stories that we hear on the news where the victims have been killed or even hurt to the point where they're disabled later on in life. And oftentimes the victim actually now becomes the perpetrator and they've killed their abuser. Some victims also may feel like, to fight back is their only way out, or I had to kill him because he would never leave me alone. Also here in Tampa, we do have a domestic violence shelter called The Spring, which was opened in 1977. And according to The Spring, they've been open for 33 years and they've helped thousands of women and children. And now often they've been seeing a very high number of men that are seeking shelter as well. So again, it's not just women, it's men as well that are being, abused. Let's see here. I just want to reiterate that between 85 and 90% of people who are abused are women. We are seeing an increase of abuse within men, and there is help out there. If you or anyone you know are being abused, please be their support system. Actively tell them that you're there for them, even if it involves just listening. And also you can refer them to the Spring or the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. And in closing, I just want to say that domestic violence is not love. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't punch, and it doesn't leave you with a black eye. And I do thank you for your time today.